Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome to another Tech Tuesday. If you're counting, it's number 13. I don't know if that's lucky because I don't really believe in luck, but I feel blessed that you're here with me. I can say that. So tonight we're talking about what to do when there's not enough tech. If I've not met you, my name is Suzy Lolley. I am a 15-year teacher. I taught 11 years of middle and high school. Now I do instructional technology for the same district. But what I do at night is totally independent. It's on my own. And so just coming up with some stories and some tips to share with you every week that I think will benefit you in your classroom. If you have not, hey Leanne, hey Anna, if you have not already subscribed to my blog, you need to stop what you're doing now. At the end of this broadcast, I'm going to actually give you a link where you can go and grab resources for exactly what I'm talking about tonight. And so I want to make sure you don't miss out on that. So SuzyLolley.com, go over there, check it out. I always post the blog post the day after. So Wednesday at 8 p.m., you will see the blog post related to this released. It'll have this video embedded as well as related resources. So let's get down and dirty with it. So I want to go ahead and conquer a myth tonight. I hear teachers all the time in my current role as a trainer, but I also experienced it as a teacher. I hear teachers all the time say, I don't have technology, we're not one-to-one, we can't do this, we can't do that. But I want to shatter that myth tonight that you can't use technology if not everyone has a device. I want to tell a true story, and this happened in my final year teaching, but that's just an example of what happened many years. My background is that I was in a trailer classroom. You can class that up if you want to. You can say cottage, a mobile, whatever you want to call that place that I was, but I was in a trailer classroom. I had completed a program many years ago called Teach 21, and I had to take 2 years of class in order to earn technology for my classroom. You were able to propose some kind of project and you could get whatever technology would support that project. So I found out we could go big, and so I asked for a mobile lab for my classroom, but I didn't feel like I was going to get, enough. So the partner that I was working with and we were both 8th grade teachers. We wrote our final project together, and we just asked if we could split a laptop lab. That was a bad idea, because I ended up with initially 16 laptops. Y'all, unless you're teaching in private school, you're never going to teach 16 students probably. So I finally was able to get that upgraded to 24, but still I always had maybe 30 students with 24 laptops. I did have at times 2 desktops in my classrooms, but the laptops sometimes would not boot or had problems. And so they weren't useful if I wanted to do a quick activity. They were more used if I wanted to do an extended project. So I was very blessed. I was a language arts teacher and then English in the high school. And so when we did writing projects, we had time to let them boot because that was going to be something they were going to work for the whole period or for several days. But it was easier for me, I found, to use this tech plan. I had my 2 desktops, 1 grant-funded iPad, which we'll talk about, and then I always say hijacking, and then hijacking student phones. So we made use of that technology to run a tech-based classroom, or tech-enhanced, I should say. I wasn't like fully teching because, we didn't have something for everybody to use every day, but I was able to use at least some technology every day in my classroom. So here's the first idea. And I want to give a shout out to Laura Randazzo. If you're not following her and you're a high school English teacher, you need to pause me. You can't pause me, I'm live. If you're watching and I'm not live, you can pause me. Go over to YouTube and follow Laura Randazzo, R-A-N. I'll just write her name right here. She has a YouTube channel, and I'm actually just going to do better than that. I will post her link. I have a very hard time using other people's resources, but hers were so good that I actually was able to use them. So I want to give her a shout out. And what does that have to do with technology? Well, she had these things. When I was teaching 11th grade lit, she had these little one-question things she called one-question quizzers. And she would give you, when you buy lesson plans from her, she would give you like 3 options. So if you had 3 different classes, asking each other what the one question was for that day and then looking it up, which was awesome. So when my students came in, if we had been reading, I'm just going to use Huck Finn as my example, I gave them a little quick quiz and they just used their phones. If they didn't have a phone, I had 1 iPad and I had 2 desktops that they could kind of go to, or I was fine with them when one kid finished the quiz and submitted, they could give their phone to another kid, okay? This was a quick, there really was no time for them to cheat. You're like, oh my gosh, they shared phones, but it was really just so quick. It was 1 question, you knew it or you didn't, and I found that my students were not very good cheaters. If they were trying to cheat, they weren't doing a very good job of it. So I gave them maybe 3 minutes to answer that 1 question, and I walked around as they quizzed, And what was so cool is at the end of that, I had it feed into, at that time I was using Google Forms. Now I'm rocking Microsoft, but Microsoft Form, whatever the tool is, Socrative, even Kahoot would work for this. The data would be ready at the end of the quiz, and they use phone. So if you don't have technology in your classroom, maybe you have a little bit, supplement that with student phones. Okay, what else did I do with student phones in the classroom, or with my setup was 2 laptops, an iPad, and whatever phones that students brought. I used, for like Socrative or Kahoot quizzes, which they saw as games, I would use those as a review for Newsella. Okay, I always called that Newsella, so I'm glad I finally learned how to pronounce that. But Newsella is another site, and I can post that here. Newsella. Newsella is a site where you can find different nonfiction or newspaper type articles related to something that you're reading in class. So for example, I was reading, not The Call of the Wild, one of those though, okay? I'm just going blank at this particular moment. Have you ever had a day like that? It's been a week like that. I thought it was Thursday, like, you know, since yesterday, and that was Monday. So anyway, Newsella is another, you know, if you're reading something that's maybe fiction and you're having a hard time getting your kids hooked in, or you're trying to make that Common Core connection, then you can take them to a Newsella article, which is, you know, real authentic text, and connect the two. The problem is, and maybe Newsella will watch this and make a change, their quizzes were so hard, like I didn't even know what answers they were looking for. And so with Newsella, I gave the article from there, but I created my own little quizzes on Socrative and Kahoot. If you're a 9th or 11th grade lit teacher, I'd be happy to share those with you. Just let me know, reach out, leave a comment. So with their phones, again, they were able to really quickly race each other and do Socrative or Kahoot quiz, okay? You get formative data from their own devices, and if the quizzes are short, 2 kids, you know, I can finish and then let another kid finish, just like I said on the quiz. Okay, what else could you do? I loved using phones for quick debates. So I taught my honors kids Tuesdays with Maury. My honors 9th graders read Tuesdays with Maury as the nonfiction text for Common Core. And I had them, as part of the reading, decide how they felt about euthanasia, and they did a debate, and it was a one-on-one debate. I lined them up all in a row, desks facing each other, all intimidating and such. And what was really bad is I had a student whose partner was absent, so I made her debate me. She did a great job, but she did a really good job. But anyway, so as the kids are debating, they went back and forth, and as they're debating, the students are using Poll Everywhere on their phones to give instant feedback, okay? At the end, they were able to, really quickly, so this is what we did with Poll Everywhere, they were able to tell me who won, and I gave that person bonus points in addition to their rubric grade that I was going to give them anyway. So really cool way to use phones. So guys, you're not limited. Don't wait for one-to-one. Let's make that a new slogan, okay? I'm going to put that here in the comments, and I would love for you to tweet that. Don't wait for one-to-one. Okay, what else did we do with phones in my classroom? And these are true stories from my actual classroom. Boy Scouts honor, I think, Girl Scouts honor, I don't know the difference. Anyway, what else did we do with phones or with limited technology in class? We did red carpet awards. Now, my students often did video projects. I'm going to try to think of a few that we did. Talking of Huck Finn again, I had them do a 4-minute Huck Finn project. I think I got that from Ms. Randazzo as well. They had to act out something. They had to act out the whole Huck Finn in 4 minutes. So it was a funny kind of abbreviated version. We did daily double videos with my honors freshmen where they had New York Times words of the day. They had 2 a day. That's why we called it the daily double. And as they learned their words, like they were each in charge of 10, as they learned those words, then they made a little video to teach the rest of the class. I did the same thing with those same honors freshmen where I had them make grammar videos. So all those frequently confused things like, okay, semicolons, whatever, I had them make a video and the kids would have to do some kind of response to it. But here's what's even cooler. With limited technology, they were able to do an embedded, I think I used again, I think it was Poll Daddy. I had one of those embedded on my website, and from their phones, they could vote for their favorite video project. Now, for those particular projects, I did extend it to the outside world. Hey, Tasha, you're going to learn some technology tonight. So if they, you know, went on my website and voted or had their parents vote or whatever, they were able to see who won the awards, and it gave them an authentic audience right there from their phone. So you don't have a computer for every student to do little things like that. And my class was very interactive in that way. Okay. What would I add now? Because I've been out of the classroom now. This is 4 years. May will be 4 years since I've been out. So what would I do now? OneNote has changed my life as far as academically and professionally. I am on the OneNote love boat. You've heard me say that. You've seen it on Twitter. So if I were still teaching now, I would have totally rocked out one of these two options. Number one, the OneNote class notebook. It gives every student a second notebook. It gives you a collaboration space, and it allows students to interact with your content. They never forget a paper. They never lose a paper. They don't have to put their names on it because it's already, you're distributing to them. Everything they need to be organized, and all those things that used to keep, I'm going to be honest, a lot of boys handicapped in my class, they just couldn't get their organization together. That could be changed. And the OneNote app is free for phones. So if you don't have enough tech, you still can use that. And what else is cool about that is OneNote does not require Wi-Fi. So kids can be totally off Wi-Fi if they're kids who don't have that at their houses. They can be totally off Wi-Fi and they can still interact with your tech. And with your tech. They can still use their tech to interact with your class. I would also have them get, if I were in the district I'm in now, I would have them get the Canvas app. So Canvas is our learning management system in our district, but the app is totally free. If you're a Google school, the Google apps are free. And they don't have to be accessed on what we consider technology. I remember our district released what you may call BYOD, but we call it BYLD, Bring Your Learning Device, I guess to make it sound less like a alcoholic beverage. And when I first heard that initiative come out, I was thinking more of kids bringing laptops and things like that. But don't be handicapped by that. Phones are an acceptable device that kids can do a lot of stuff with. Honestly, they would rather type a whole paper for you on the app than on a keyboard, okay? How do you, in 3 ways, get more tech if you just really are like, Suzy, you know what, the phone thing's working a little bit, but I've got to have some more technology in my class. I have 3 ideas for you, okay? The first one's a true story from my classroom. If you have ever taught elementary school and you have Teacher Appreciation Week, Christmas, They Like You Day, I don't know, you get presents all the time. I see things all the time from my elementary teachers that I train. They're just like, oh my gosh, a parent made this for me. A parent made that for me. Well, if you're a high school teacher, you do not get presents, okay? I can count on both hands in the 4 years that I taught high school how many presents I got. It's just not a thing. But in spite of that, the last school I was at, I took a risk and I said, you know what? I'd like to have an iPad for my classroom. Just one. I wasn't, going pie in the sky here. I wanted just one iPad that I could use for different things in the classroom. I put together a grant on Donors Choose, and parents of high school students donated to me an iPad. It was pretty amazing. So if you've not discovered Donors Choose, go check it out. I know some company paid off everybody's grants on Donors Choose, which was amazing. Now, I will give this caveat. In our district, there are different policies you have to follow and procedures in order to apply for a grant. You can't just do that in a sneaky way, which I think we kind of used to be able to do. So just make sure in your county that you're following whatever your protocol is so that you're on the up and up. Number 2, the second easy way to get technology is to have parents donate old phones to you. A lot of us have phones in drawers that we don't really want to use anymore. Maybe it's slow, maybe it's not the newest one, or we did get a new phone or whatever. Those phones don't even have to be on service. They can use Wi-Fi at school. They might even load faster because they're not, pulling all these other things, and you're able to use them at school as supplemental technology. So if you've not thought about that, ask your parents for extra phones. And then finally, use what you have. I have one school I train, and for the last 3 years, I've made it my mission to tell them, listen, I know you don't have all the technology you want, but the way you get that is you impress somebody at the money spending level by using what you have. So if everybody else is using, let me start over. If everyone else is using technology at this level, you need to be up here using it, even if it's student phones. When they pull that BYLD use report, they need to see that your school is the one just totally rocking it out. Hi, friend. 2 sisters on here watching my podcast. Watching my video. Ain't that cute? Anyway, so you want to blow the top off of user stats, even with what you have. If you learn it, you will earn it. If you use it, they will buy it for you. I can't think of a rhyme for that. But anyway, just keep that in mind, that you don't have to be stunted in your classroom because you don't have a device for every student. Use what you have, ask for more, get a grant, and maybe by the time you've done all of that and you've started making your class functional with what you have, somebody's going to hear about you and they're going to give you more technology. So I hope this has helped tonight. I hope you've got some ideas of using what you have, but also some ideas for getting some more. And you guys have a great night. Don't forget to check out my blog post tomorrow night, Wednesday at 8 p.m. You'll see a copy of it pop over here. And if you've not subscribed, go right now, SuzyLolley.com, and make sure you like that page. Bye, guys. Have a good night.